zombie, zombie, zombie. I actually recorded last night. It would be really easy. I don't know why. I mean, I recorded last night, but it was like 10-15 minutes of silence and just driving, because I couldn't make myself talk. I was quite depressed yesterday. And what's weird about depression, at least the one I have, is that it can like strike from almost nowhere and from almost nothing. Like, I was in a completely fine mood. That guy just went on a turn left on a red light. I was in a completely fine mood for the most part, and then it wasn't. It just wasn't. It was fucking miserable. It was miserable and quite unpleasant. And it started because, well, it started from a reason I thought I had, and then I realised on top of that I'd be the only one who really cared about it, so I even talk about it, because whatever. But there's someone has a crush on me, whatever. But it's what she has a crush on me. If like not like if not acknowledged it, or I've like flipped it around, so it's not like, it's like I know and I'm not doing anything, but I acknowledge, like you can come, like it got so bad that like 2 people in the chat were like, wow, you're quite clingy, right? So it's like, hey, you're being very loud with this. So like, who was it? One of them was like, oi, he's wearing a sweater that you like. And I was like, stop throwing meat to the wolves. They basically, you acknowledge it without fucking doing anything. It's like, okay, whatever, I get it. That's important to the general feel, because it's like, it's weird to have a girl who has a crush on you and you turn her down, and then you get in your car and you're like wondering, like you're super lonely, and that's like super fucking weird, because it's like you're like, oh, I'll never be loved, and oh, I'll never find someone, and like you're just feeling crushingly depressed, and yet on the other hand you're literally turning down a chick who has a crush on you. It's depression, and it's such a weird sort of confluence of feelings. Like, it's almost at odds with each other. But what's really weird is it's only mentally. Like, mentally you think about it, but like I don't even. It's like 2 completely separate buckets. Like, if the thing, it's just like, oh, you need to like fucking make sure you're not leading her on or anything like that. Just like sort of acknowledge it, but don't acknowledge it, don't make it a big deal type thing, right? Like, and like I've had to do that before, so it's whatever. But like, it's a thing, but that's like separate from the whole feeling fucking lonely and depressed thing. Like, it doesn't even match. However, like when you really think about it and you're like, oh, I'm doing these 2 things almost simultaneously, that's when it gets really strange, because it's like, you would think that like the first part would like counter the second. Like, it'd be like, oh, well, you've got this, so obviously this, but it doesn't really. It just makes it worse almost. Like, it exacerbates it. Yeah. What else? I was like, the really morbid thing. Just, you ever like wondering what happens after you die? Who would be impacted by it? Who would be affected by it? I think my uncle and aunt would, and my mum. What's interesting though, oh, that's where, because I had my team meeting and they sort of inadvertently depressed everyone. But we're talking about health insurance. And I told them that basically I always have like the biggest and best health insurance I can get, even though I don't go to the hospital very frequently. Like I think I've gone once for an ear infection. But it's like I don't want to ever have to stress about it. Like I want to know that no matter what happens, I'm covered in that event that I need to use it. And it's like I said, because like I don't have anyone. Right, my mum lives still over on the East Coast, and even if she didn't, wouldn't really get much support there. My uncle's here, about 2 hours away. But I mean, I send him like 4 or 5 texts over the course of a year, and that's quite a lot for me. That's like, I don't have that. Like I learned to be self-sufficient, sort of necessity. Like, I could tell you sort of 2 things. I remember quite a lot if I let myself think about it, but like, when you've multiple times to sit there and convince your mother not to kill herself, it changes your ability to rely on other people. And conversely, when you have a knife to your own wrist because you're quite depressed, and your mum just goes to the back of the house, and sort of just leaves you sitting there, that also sort of removes your ability to rely on anyone else, especially when it's your mum. So I don't have those connections that everyone else has. I just don't. Like, yeah, you just learn to be by yourself. So, like, that came out because it's like I don't have anyone. Like, if I died, like, no one would know for a couple days, like, until they realised my car wasn't moving and like my door hadn't been opened, and maybe the smell eventually. I remember I took a day off, and like I pre-scheduled it, so like it had been flagged, it was fine, but apparently Kelly hadn't seen it, so I just randomly, I didn't show up. Obviously it's my day off, but I didn't show up, I didn't call, so all of a sudden I started getting like calls and texts from like a couple other supervisors at work, and it's until I got in touch with somebody and they were like, oh, she didn't know where you were, and Kelly was like, well, no one would know if anything happened to you, which is true, and also apparently quite depressing, because when I said that in the meeting, the whole team got quite sad. So that's why, because like, you know, I don't know what would happen if I was like incapacitated in an accident or whatnot. Like, I'd want the medical personnel to be able to take me to the hospital without me having to be worried that I'm not covered in that instance. I don't know if that's a normal thought, but that's the thought I have. If I'm unconscious, how can someone contact work so I don't lose my job? Is that a normal thought? Yeah, so, you know, you wonder. I figured my mum would be impacted once she found out. And it's perhaps not funny, but it's funny because, like, no one would know for a while, for a bit. Just, I don't have a connection with people. I mean, obviously, I guess, you know, I didn't show up to work. That would trigger some alarms. That's probably what would do it. Like, just not showing up to work would be the biggest indicator that something's wrong. That's especially because I'm there quite frequently. But family-wise, my aunt, my uncle, my mom, that's about it. I mean, I guess my team, but like, that's that work thing. Like, you're like, man, that sucks. It's really sad. And then you have a new supervisor, so life goes on. So that happened. Realistically, I mean, I can't really. Cuneo. Yeah, he'd probably be affected. Maybe Caesar and Casey. Probably. Possibly Brian. Possibly. I don't know. I don't know about Brian. Maybe. I think so. So I guess it would have an impact on a couple people. It's just, I don't know, I think about it. I just wonder what happens. That's the wrong key. I actually almost hurt my throat yesterday. I was doing something. What was I doing? I was just doing like diaphragm tonal voices, and I went to a note I can't quite hit without going into falsetto, and my vocal cords were not quite happy with it. I cut off the note quite quickly, but yeah, it was a thing. I was worried that I made myself mute, but I didn't, obviously. It's the weekend. I actually did work. I did work today. I really need to get medicated. It's fucking terrible recently. This book is good. I can't stop reading it. And it's fucking not good for my ADHD. Because I can't pull myself away. I need to get medicated. I do. I should probably look into that. Meh. And maybe I could go back to writing if I did too. I've not been able. Ever since I realised it was towards the end of the book, I've not been able to write. Like, I think I managed to push out like a page or two. And last time I was medicated, I was at work, obviously not here, and I got in trouble because it's quite accurate. Like, I didn't put that many whatever I was doing. I was doing some sort of phone interns, and they were like, in the past fucking 4 hours, You've only entered like 3 forms, but the book you're writing has grown by like 13.5 pages. 13.5. Aye, that's what I said. Bit of an exaggeration, that. So who knows? Maybe if I get myself medicated, I'll be able to write again. Or at least just focus on my work. That'd be nice. Because I'm fucking not doing too well right now. Quite distracted all the time. Anyway, I'm home. Goodbye.